Okay, it's that time in which we get right into our wow woman of the week, woman of worth. So in studio with us, we have Arlene Villarule Felix, and she is a well-experienced professional makeup artist in the industry for more than 17 years. And one thing that she's definitely known for is not only demonstrating her makeup techniques on a daily basis through social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook. But together with that, she also is a source of inspiration for so many women. So tell us, what is your daily motivation for today? Good morning and welcome.
Oh gosh, my daily motivation for today is, I think it would have to be, as we truly say, what it meet you and pass you. You know, when it is your time, it is your time. And I think a lot of times we feel overlooked.
Yes.
We feel like, why isn't this happening? You know, sometimes we work very, very hard. But I think sometimes, but I know that God preserves us for the time that we are supposed to shine.
Right.
And before that, we will just be messing ourselves up with the best blessing. So
Yes.
I think you have to humble yourself when God is pruning you and making sure that you are good and ready for that time.
Right.
Take your time and just enjoy the process.
Yes, and now is your time. And you've won an award. Recently, you were nominated winner for the 2018 Caribbean Style and Culture Award of Excellence, Makeup and Aesthetics. Congratulations on that. What is that like?
You. I don't know, like, I was so blown away. I always say I don't ever win anything. I always have to create my own avenue for stuff. You know, when I came back to Trinidad after working for the Armani, for GIORGIO Armani Cosmetics,
Right.
I felt like nothing was happening for me in Trinidad. You know, I would contact local artists and celebrities and that kind of thing, and I felt like nobody was giving me a shot. And I
You had to
started
fight for
yeah,
it.
yeah. And I mean, I don't have a problem at all fighting, but I realized that if you want something, sometimes you can't sit and wait for it to fall into your laps. You have to work, and I did that, and I decided, you know what? If opportunities are not just going to come to me, I'm going to create it, and not just for myself, but for other people as well. And that is what I've been doing since being back to Trinidad.
Wonderful. So in terms of creating that for other people as well, there's so many others who have learned from you, who are now on an international platform like
Yeah.
yourself. You know, so this award in particular, I know this means a lot to you, but there's something that you shared with me off air in terms of when you asked them, what was the requirement in terms of the selection process? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was really shook when I got that call. Actually, I was on a live, and I was given my more of inspo, as I call it, every day when I go onto the live. Like, I feel like that platform that I have, I want to do so much more with it.
Right.
And while on the live, I saw this call from Messenger coming, and I'm like, why would somebody call me seeing that I'm on a live? And I kept ignoring it. When I came off the live, the call came back through, and they told me that I won. And I was asking, like, you know, but why? Like, what were the requirements for this and that kind of thing? I've never won anything like this. And he said, we've been looking at you for many, many years.
Wow.
And as far back as they can remember me being in church, singing in the choir and that kind of thing. And I'm like, wow, people are looking at you for so many years, and you are thinking that you are so insignificant, but the things that you're doing, I feel like we have to have the character. Like, if you are not being rated or you're not being liked, you know, we live in the like generation.
Yes.
We feel like, you know, we should back up, we should, but the thing is, if you keep working, you're building your character during the process. The
Yes.
process is sometimes so much more important than the finish. You know,
Right.
when you get the blessing, you're thinking more about the process and all that you binge, all that
Gotcha.
you learned, all that you grew, all, you know. And for me, I was just more blessed by the fact that they've been looking at me for so
Yes.
many years and seeing my journey, because it wasn't all a bed of roses. It was really tough for me growing up being poor and, you know, not having opportunities like the typical. So it was really a blessing that they were looking at me even through the time that I was struggling and feeling like, oh gosh, when is my big break going to come?
Yeah. So tell us about that journey. What were some of the challenges that you met along the way?
Firstly, when I went to the UK to work, I mean, I'll have to go back as far as that, because I didn't have I never studied makeup in any college. And when I landed the job on the Armani Cosmetics counter, everybody was blown away, you know, like it was literally a miracle.
Right.
And I knew that God was lining it up from then for me.
Yes.
And I worked my butt off. I worked so hard that I was known in the head office as a makeup artist who is making X amount of money. You know, they know me by my MSI number and what have you.
Wow.
And, you know, coming back to Trinidad, I lost myself over there, by the way. I went across there as a Christian, young girl, and I started smoking and I started drinking heavily. I became an alcoholic over there. And when I was thinking, like, you know what, God forsake me, it was all part of the process, because now that I back in Trinidad, there's so many people who are going through the same situation as myself, you know, losing yourself for so many different reasons. Because like the issues that I was going through internally,
Right.
then it was like so huge, and now I'm like, really, that was so basic. But the thing is, when you are going through a situation, you feel like it is the biggest thing in the world, and you know nobody else is going through this.
So it's about the perception at the
it
moment
is
in
your
time.
perception, definitely. But the thing is, you can't tell somebody that what you are going through is not a big deal.
So what would have aided in the healing, in you getting over that process, putting that behind you and stepping higher?
Well, the thing is, my mother, she always prays for us, and she brought us to church from a tender age, and I always tell her that's the best gift that you ever gave to us.
Wow.
And you know, I pray, there's no distance in praise.
Yes.
And my mother knew that I was going through a period, I was going through a season where I was kind of losing myself and that kind of thing, but she would pray for me, she would send me prayers to read and that kind of thing. And when I came back to Trinidad, overnight, I didn't end back up in church and that kind of thing. I was still drinking heavily and smoking and that kind of thing. But eventually, within myself, I knew that I was just a shell of who I was initially, or who I thought that God wanted me to be. Growing up in church and that kind of thing. And then I just gradually, I would go to church, and my sister would be like, Arlene, but your breath smelling of alcohol. And you know, I would go out the night before and I drink heavily, and I'm in church, and I'm like, that's all right. You know what? I surrender in my heart, and God will do the rest. And eventually he started fixing me. And I developed a love for him that I no longer wanted that type of lifestyle.
But what was that aha moment in which, for yourself, you're the Arlene girl, time to kick that habit, put it to the side, enough is enough, moving on?
That's an excellent question. I felt like in my mess, I was still experiencing the love of God. Like in the middle of me doing all the crazy, I would still feel like, you know,
you had to have the test to have the testimony.
Yeah. It was so crazy that, you know, I would go to church and I would have experiences, you know, you would break down, you would feel the presence of God because I was praying and all of this.
Yes.
So in my spirit, I was feeling something. It was a tug, a pull, you know, going this direction. I'm going this direction, but, you know, something else is pulling me that way. And feeling the love of God overwhelming me. I was like, you know what? This is where I need to be, because that was the only time that I felt complete. Right. So that, and I always say that my spirituality really ground me, because I do so many different things, and the one thing that holds me down is my spirituality.
And there's something else you mentioned that I found was so potent. You said at this point in your life, you realized that you were then able to help so many others who were going through what you would have gone through however many years before.
Yeah.
So tell us of how it has been in terms of you inspiring others to be the best version of themselves.
You see, like, I have women coming on a daily basis, and I'm talking about from all over the world, expressing, you know, I'm going through this with my husband, I'm going through this. And I feel like the exact things that I've been through is exactly, like, you know, God will put certain people in your circle, and there's certain people that you might be able to reach that I could never, and vice versa.
Of course.
So I know that these people were placed in my circle specifically for me to impact in a, you know, in a different way. So I take that role really, really seriously.
Yes.
So when I'm at home and I am having my spiritual moment, I'm like, you know, Lord, I want myself to decrease so you could increase. And when he increases in me, I'm smarter. I feel like I'm so much more confident with everything that I'm doing.
Right.
From makeup. Listen, I feel like a quack when I'm doing makeup. And like, if you're not in alignment, like, you know, I didn't get up and I didn't do my morning prayer and my what have you.
Yes.
I feel like I'm so much more empowered. I'm so much more in control. I'm so much where I'm supposed to be when I'm in alignment. And it's not just for me. I'm seeing how it is helping so many other people. So I know, you know, when you know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's a fulfilling feeling.
Yeah, that is wonderful what you're saying there. I feel very often in life, you know, your tears are in vain if you don't use your tears to ensure someone else doesn't cry those same tears. You know?
Correct.
And you help and inspire. And I'm listening to what you're saying and I'm thinking, what power there. I'm thinking Jonas had the whale. Daniel had the fire. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Well, Daniel had the lion's den. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had the fire. And you had your challenges. You had your test. But what was that moment in which you got your break when you came back to Trinidad? Because I know you mentioned that you had to really work to ensure that your name was out there.
But the funny thing is, when I came back here and was fighting up and trying, and I sent emails to everybody, everybody you could think about.
Yes.
And then when I said, you know what, I'm just going to every single day I started putting out a different look every day, just doing it for the love of it. Doing it, being myself 100%, not trying to copy anybody or be anybody, be inspired, but just be myself. And when I started doing that, these same people who I was sending messages out to, they started contacting me. I was like, what? Like, seriously?
Wow.
When you rest in yourself and when you just stop fighting up, I think things happen. When I say rest, not rest and not do anything, but just be, just embrace all of you, embrace the power within you, and just be. And everything just started falling into place for me, and I just have to say, God, you're good. And you've been doing this all along. You were preparing me, and what wasn't happening before, it was because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that at that point in time, and I'm good and ready now. So it's just to maintain that faith.
Yes, I applaud you, because whether you had a client or you didn't have a client, a makeup artist is a makeup artist.
Yes.
So you've been doing your
I
look,
do in my face.
regardless.
Yeah,
If
if people ain't coming to me, I do my face. I put it out there.
And that is such an important message there. But in terms of beauty, you make women look beautiful. But what is beauty to you?
Well, someone came onto my live and she was saying, beauty, makeup is an art, but beauty is a spirit. So when you could, like, someone sits in my chair and when I could speak to them, sometimes you get a cue, okay, something is going on with this person other than them wanting makeup. And you could dig into that and, share some kind of light. They're no longer looking in the mirror. Some people would be looking in the mirror. They want to peek at every single thing. It is no longer about that, because once you feel good, I telling you for years, people, you're so beautiful. And I would see myself to be ugly. But when you feel good from the inside, there's nobody out there who could tell you you're not hot. You are beautiful, and you don't care for the praise of anybody else.
Yes.
You do not have to have anybody tell you you're gorgeous, because once you're feeling that on the inside, and I feel that is what I'm here to do, literally make people understand, because I've been through that. That was my experience. I couldn't feel beautiful. I couldn't see myself as beautiful until I felt that beauty from the inside.
Ah, gotcha. So, in other words, so long as someone is sitting on your chair, close your eyes.
And let me take the wheel.
Yes. So, that being the case, you're a wife, you're a mother. What is it like juggling, establishing yourself as a brand, ensuring that you perform your art, but also fulfilling what you must when it comes to home?
Okay, so for many years, and it will be a challenge to anybody who has a full plate. You are demanded here, you're requested.
Right.
I feel like I always say, Lord, give me the time, help me to be the mother, the best mother that I could be, the best wife that I could be, the best employer that I could be. I always put God first in all of that, because I feel like if you are trying to do all of this on your own, you will run out of time. But I literally feel like I have 25 hours in the day when I put God into everything.
Yes.
If I tell him, because my husband and I, we've been through many trials with my son. I've had many issues with him. But I feel like when I'm not doing it on my own, or when I'm not trying to do it on my own, I handle it so much more composed. So I feel like we all try to fight up with things on our own, and God is saying, rest in me, I could help you do everything. And I literally, people might say, oh God, she always talking about God, but I have had the best of both worlds. I've had both worlds, and I know that when I'm putting God first in everything, it just somehow works out. I don't know, I can't tell you, well, when I get up in the morning and this time I do this and I allot this time for that, it just works out, because I get up and I start my day praying, Lord, you take control, you go before me, guide me, direct me, lead me. And I've seen that I've helped my husband, we've worked out certain things in our lives just by putting God first. And with my son, we have a better relationship. There's so many things that I could share, but we don't have the time right now. But just, I'm telling you, no matter where you are at right now, you just invite God in, and he will definitely diffuse all the chaos.
Yes. So with that, in other words, I'd like to think of stress being when you stop, rest. So you rest in knowing who you are and whose you are.
Amen. Amen, for sure.
So in closing, we started things off with your daily motivation, which is today, what don't meet you, don't pass you. What's for you is for you.
Yes.
So with that, I congratulate you on your award, 2018 Caribbean Style and Culture Award of Excellence makeup and aesthetics. So in studio with us, we have Arlene Villarule Felix, well-experienced professional makeup artist in the industry for more than 17 years. And so many have been inspired by you. So through you, we celebrate all women through our celebration of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
You for
Woman of the
having me.
Week. Thank you.